We are fighting the humidity hard today.
What is happening, people? It is Brian Alsruhe with NEVERsate.com, and welcome to this week's training video where you guys are going to be joining me for my squats. Now, much like last week's training video for the overhead press, I'm not going for anything massively heavy today. I'm not trying to set any PRs or records or anything like that. This is just a normal working squat day for me, and I thought I'd bring you guys along and just share with you guys the things that I'm personally working on, the cues, all the things that are going through my head, and hopefully give you guys some tips that you will be able to translate over to your own workouts, and hopefully this will help you out. But what would any good training video be without a question of the day? And if you guys do want to participate, all you need to do is leave your answers in the comment section down below, because I do love reading them, on top of the fact that it does help push the direction that the content is going in the future. So today's question is actually going to be a two-parter. The first part is, what do you believe is the hardest strength sport on your body? Which one beats you up the most? Is it powerlifting? Is it bodybuilding? Is it strongman? Is it CrossFit? Is it Highland Games? Or is it something that I didn't just mention? You can answer absolutely anything you want. And then the second part of this question is about recovery. Out of all of the recovery methods that you have tried, what is the number one thing that you believe has worked best for you? Now, that could be anything from sauna to stretching and mobility. It could be ice bath for some people, and I want to address that real quickly because number one, I truly believe that all the hate going on for ice baths right now is going to be one of those things in the fitness industry that like a decade from now, everyone's going to look back on and be like, oh man, we were totally wrong, da-da-da. Like, tends to happen an awful lot in our industry. But I do want people to feel free to give their opinion. So if your answer is ice bath, say ice bath, man. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I truly, truly believe that ice baths have helped my recovery in the past. I am an ice bath addict, I guess. I am well aware of the science on the matter, and I know I just lost like 50 subscribers for saying that, but I'm telling you, for me in the past, it has worked. Maybe it's placebo effect, maybe it's something else, but I'm just telling you, for me personally, I feel better after I take an ice bath. So that is your opinion, and no one on this channel, hopefully, is going to jump on you for having it. Anyway, my personal answers to the question today are going to be strongman would be my strength sport that I believe beats you up the most. Now, I do not have hardly any experience at all with Highland Games stuff, so I can't really speak to that, but out of all the other ones I mentioned, I will say that strongman definitely has been the most punishing for me personally on my body. Now, for the second part about the recovery, what number one thing has helped me, I would have to say sleep. Now, I am a terrible, terrible insomniac, so I don't get a ton of sleep. But when I do, I wake up and I feel bulletproof, and weights feel lighter, and I just don't feel as like bad, I guess. So for me, when I can get sleep, it absolutely just helps my body so incredibly much. But I am really interested to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. First part of the question is, which of the strength sports do you believe beats up your body the most? And then the second question is, out of all the recovery methods that you've ever tried, cupping, cryotherapy, whatever the case may be, just what has worked the absolute number one best for you? And again, guys, thank you very much for participating. It absolutely does help steer the direction of this channel. But right now, I am sweaty enough, and I've done nothing but set up for the workout. It's a hot one today, so let's get after it. All right, guys, so it's actually mid-workout for me, so I apologize if I sound out of breath, but the giant set begins with a tire flip burpee box jump, and the idea of that is obviously to get your body temperature up and all your little joints moving, but it also gets your hips moving very, very explosively for something like the squat, and there's no doubt that if you do something very strongman-y and grunt forcey like a tire flip, it will absolutely get your head in the game as well as your body ready for your squats. Now, strange fact here is these are actually the first tire flips that I've done since moving to my home gym. So it's only 500 pounds higher, but it feels a lot heavier than it probably should. After the tire flips, we moved on to the squat. Now today, I'm working up to something relatively heavy for a triple. However, today is a very hot and humid day, so I kind of know the traction is going to become an issue because of how much I sweat. So we'll see where that goes from here, but yeah, it did end up becoming an issue. Now, directly from my squats with zero rest, all right? So as soon as I got done my squats, I turn around, I pick up a medicine ball, and I start jumping with it. Now, the idea behind this is getting my body to produce force when I really, really do not want to. Now, a lot of you will see this in your Power Builder program or the Power Builder Strongman program. If you guys bought one of my $25 programs, you'll see something like this. And yes, I mean immediately, you seriously get done your third squat, you turn around and you start jumping. And then the fourth exercise in this giant set is the dragon flag, which I absolutely love. They're one of the only ab exercises that regularly make my core sore, so pumped about that. Really, really strong giant set. Now, as far as what I was personally working on today, I am always working on squats, always trying to keep my chin tucked, because I have a tendency when I'm coming out of the hole, literally every single thing in my brain is screaming up, and my chin is just a really, really good listener, so it decides to shoot up pretty much at the beginning of every rep that is heavier than, I don't know, like 200 pounds. So that is something that I'm always constantly working on, but really, really something that I'm trying to put more focus on than anything else with my squats right now is having all of my attention and focus on my brace instead of my legs. I know my legs are strong enough to push any weight that I'm loading on a bar anytime soon. However, my core right now is what is buckling, turning in and out, and just not doing what it is supposed to. So when I'm dropping down the hole, especially down near the bottom, there's a couple things I'm thinking. Number one, before I even start the descent, I'm thinking about getting as much air into my belly as I possibly can in a 360-degree type of awareness. So not only up front of my belt, but also in the back of my belt and then on the sides and obliques of my belt, trying to fill up that entire area like if you were trying to wrap a belt really tight around a balloon. That's exactly what I'm trying to do with my midsection. Now, trying to hold that as I descend. However, I found recently that I've been getting a little bit lazy in my descent, and I'm focusing more on how heavy the weight feels on my back, as opposed to what I'm supposed to be actually cueing on, which is keeping my core tight and braced. Now, in the bottom here, what I try to do instead of trying to drop a little bit lower, in the squat, what I do is push my knees out a little bit further, almost like a pregnant woman trying to sit down, and she has to spread her legs so that she has room for her stomach to move. And that's the same exact thing I'm trying to do here in the bottom of the squat. So I'm not trying to tip further over the bar, because that would change all the angles and everything. Instead, I'm just trying to push my knees out another inch or so, which allows my body to sink between my legs just a tiny bit more to depth and then come out. However, keeping my brace tight through all of that has been really, really a challenge. So that is particularly what I'm working on here today. Well, sweat is definitely playing a role in this workout. However, I did want to get something heavy on my back, so I did change my shirt so I could stick some chalk on the back of it. I loaded up 600 on the bar thinking that I'd take it for a ride, and it rode me. So it just felt so brutally heavy on my back that all my cues went out the window. I wasn't even flexing my butt before I went into the descent, so I was never even really set before I went for the rep. So yeah, I got that for two, but I really should probably do that again. Anyway, I'm moving on to assistance. And the very first thing that I'm going to do to try to help me hold my position a little bit better are tempo squats. So what I'm gonna do here is drop the weight pretty considerably to 405, and then all I'm going to do is do a 4-second descend where I'm making very sure that I'm holding my position and I'm pushing my knees out to get down there. Once I'm in the bottom, I'm going to hold for a good 4-second count, and then I'm going to go all the way back up doing another 4 count. Once I'm at the top, I'm gonna flex my butt for 4 seconds, and then I'm gonna do it again. As soon as I am done with these reps, I'm gonna step out of the rack and then get into a wall sit position. And no, I do not stick my hands on my legs or anything like that for wall sits. They're either above my head or I will hold a medicine ball to my chest. And then to finish off the day, I did as many rounds as I could in 10 minutes of 10 front foot elevated split squats, where I was doing 10 each side to 10 glute ham raises, and then 15 lying leg curls with the band and just having it choked off around the rack. So overall, guys, not a bad day. Of course, I would have loved to get a little bit heavier on my squats, but you know what? When you're sweating this bad, you're obviously putting in the work. So man, I do absolutely what I can, and I just feel so blessed and so happy to actually be standing here with everybody, working hard, hitting the numbers that I'm hitting. So I'm just happy about that. So guys, if you do want to participate in the question of the week down below, remember, What is the toughest strength sport? Out of any that I mentioned or any that you can think of, what is toughest strength sport? And then the second part of the question is, out of all the recovery methods that you've ever tried, what is the number one thing that has worked for you? So guys, I thank you so much for joining me on these training days. I really do appreciate it. I really do just thank you guys so much for your time and your attention and everything that you guys do. So I will catch you guys later in the week. Until I do go out something amazing, guys, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. I'll see you then. I messed that up.